around here. Let's see. And another fantastic show, ladies and gentlemen, with Johnny Thunder, but mainly Chris Greenman from a psychedelic background at a disco somewhere in Europe. I'm glad that you could tune in for this great news today. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well. It's very hot where I'm at, so we had to put the rainbow lights up, which helps with everything.
Do you travel with that light, like that light array? I mean, it's very complimentary to your appearance.
Well, you know what's interesting is how you picked up on that I do travel with this light. This is not one that comes standard in any kind of hotel that I stay at. And this hotel in particular is an amazing hotel, but it did not come with this light.
So it can upgrade like a Motel 6 to at least a 3-star.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. Yeah, no, it instantly upgrades your hotel to like a 4.5 star, no matter where you're at.
It can look ugly. Throw the light in there and like you're full of glee and joy. That's an awesome light.
In fact, if you put 3 lights up, you're up at a 5-star hotel, which is nice. You can turn a roach coach into paradise, believe me.
I'm gonna try flying coach and see if that works. If I could like put all the keep people from sitting next to me, probably. Anyway, I'll have more room. So,
oh my God,
we are here to do a reaction video.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the crazy news that has happened in Iran, and I'm sure the people there were celebrating, and other people don't know what to do with it. A lot of things were on hold, on pause, unknown. But let's take a look. Let's see.
Yes.
Okie doke. Let's roll this tape.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. And once again, we do want to show you some video from the Iranian border with Azerbaijan as the search is now underway following a helicopter crash. The helicopter carrying the Iranian president as well as his foreign minister and other officials. And again, we are continuing to follow this. An official saying that both the lives of the Iranian president and his foreign minister were, quote, at risk following the helicopter crash, saying, quote, we are still hopeful, but information coming from the crash site is very concerning. We do want to bring in Michael Zantos, who is a foreign policy expert, to talk more about this breaking news. And Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
That guy's too handsome for us to keep going with this video.
Yeah, definitely too handsome. I think that people, the clear thing about this, people, a lot of people got excited and said, oh, like they're actually, happy that this happened because hopefully it would slow down Iran and the stuff that they're doing with furnishing the money to Hamas. But unlike in an executive order in other countries, right? The president of Iran actually does not have full control of the country or the government. So it's not as crazy as it might sound, because that's actually under direct control of the supreme leader, and so there's a lot of other people that are actually more in charge of the military and their foreign affairs than the president actually over there. So it's not apples to apples. Like if this was to happen to, say, President Biden, first of all.
Be more significant.
It would be more significant. That's probably the thing we would say politically. Yeah.
What do you think, Chris? Do you think Putin and Xi and Un, the North Korean guy, that are the axis of the bad boys of the that area? Do you think they're starting to wonder, like, hey, maybe I'm hittable too?
I definitely think so. Although this on the surface, this clearly does actually look like an accident. It's almost, what I would compare it to is Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash. Unfavorable weather conditions for a helicopter is never a good sign. I've had so much experience with some of the military helicopters and being in them and just knowing how they operate. I mean, the bottom line people have to remember with the helicopter is, like, they're not meant to fly. It's a big piece of metal that has one engine with these things going around, and it will go like this, but it would go like this if you didn't have the back rudder, which keeps it straight. So you're relying on the way you're relying on those two things is kind of inherently dangerous. It's a heavy piece of metal. Unlike a plane, you go up to a certain amount of feet, you could glide down. A 747 can glide down. It's meant to fly. Much different. So when you have a bad weather, and that affects helicopters way worse than airplanes, you're in for a crap sandwich, and no one likes to eat a crap sandwich, I don't think, unless you're into that. So
There's got to be somebody out there that does, but it's not us. But I'll tell you this much.
I mean, there's some interesting people out there that are into different things, but yeah, no, in general, no. I mean, we had the opportunity lately to go on a helicopter tour of Grand Canyon, and I didn't want to do it. I mean, there's been so many helicopter crashes on those tour things, and for that, statistically, it just wasn't good. So I said, I'm okay seeing it from the Discovery Channel or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, I think there was this could have just been some journalists trying to pull some quick spin, because all the crazy headlines come right around the action, right? The first report was, oh yeah, he's fine. Someone called us from the helicopter and he said he needs to see a doctor. That's all we got. And then you find out that even that guy's dead. And then
he called back and said he needed to see a coroner. But I'm just
he called back for another. He's like, hey, I don't even know where I am. And then they realized that wasn't even the guy that was on the helicopter. I don't know what happened.
He was on a different helicopter. He was at the helicopter ride at Disneyland. But right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. So that's kind of funny.
Well, what do you think? I mean, see, the one article I saw that was leaked was like Putin's going, yeah, it was a hit. And I'm like, okay, Azerbaijan is not a place where we have any military postings, any ninja assassins. We wouldn't put any forward deployed SF, JSOC guys in the vicinity of a helicopter in the fog that even all your radars and stuff can't track. So I'm blaming the fog. I blame the fog.
So you're bringing up something I didn't know we were going to scratch on, but it's a very valid point. I mean, yeah, it certainly could be viewed as not being an accident. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know we were going there. I'm happy we are, because that's definitely a very possible scenario, because you have a concentration of a lot of the leaders in Iran. It definitely disrupts things to a point. The military structure in Iran is much different than other countries. It's broken up basically into 3 branches. Right. So it's almost like, if you were to compare it to America, it's almost like the executive, judicial, and the legislative all control the military. And that'd be chaos, as you can probably imagine, right?
Right.
So that's another part of that it does throw it for a little bit of a loop and causes a little bit of disruption. I don't know. It's tricky. This whole thing's tricky, because it was a lot of very powerful people on the same helicopter.
Yeah, it's a lot of them all in one place, kind of like the guy that was coming after Putin for a second that got knocked out of the sky. Like this is twice in a year, or within a year period, right?
Very unlucky.
So, unlucky people flying around to unlucky places of high power and authority, but civilians are getting where they got to go. So it's questionable. I can see how Putin could make that conclusion.
Well, so what Johnny Thunder is really saying is, like, listen, the people over in Iran, and they have more money than. I mean, look what they're doing in Dubai. Just look at those countries in the Middle East that have abundance of money. When you got Russia and China buying their oil, okay, and they can just throw away money, and so it's kind of hard to believe that they wouldn't have like a helicopter, or they wouldn't that had perfect maintenance, and it's kind of hard to believe they wouldn't have the type of pilot that would, totally, if there was any remote possibility of something going wrong, that they would probably stop that from taking off in the first place. So those are all valid points. I mean, that part kind of smells funny for sure, 100%.
Well, it could be somebody within their own structure and organization, more than likely. Somebody that's power hungry that wanted to move on up the rank, and I think that the supreme leader had that guy earmarked to take over for him. He was going to be the next Ayatollah Khomeini, so that came and went through its cycle. Now I get another quick shot here. Let's see what we got here. This is about the Trump case that's going on today. Let me get this rocking and rolling.
Oh, I love her.
Is she great?
She's awesome.
Anticipating this week to be the final stretch in Trump's New York criminal trial. His attorneys say they expect to wrap up their questioning today, could be at any time. Then the prosecution can choose to ask Cohen a second round of questions. He is their final witness. After that, if they choose to do that, the defense then presents its case. Former Commander-in-Chief talked on the way in today.
All of the things you saw over the last 4 weeks, most of it should have never even been brought up. And then on top of that, there's no crime. And we go on day after day, and I tell Iowa, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. I tell New Hampshire, sorry, I won't be able to make it. I'm sitting in an icebox all day.
Senior correspondent Eric Shawn is live for us outside the courthouse. Eric.
Hello, Harris. Well, it turns out he not only lied, but also stole money from former President Trump. In cross-examination, Michael Cohen exposed as a thief today.
Wow.
This case should be dismissed. It should have never been brought. And the judge is highly conflicted. He's a corrupt judge. He's highly conflicted. He's totally corrupt. And he's interfering with an election.
Well, Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, back on cross-examination. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, again elicited more admissions, damaging to Cohen's credibility, that he stole money from the Trump organization. Testimony showed that Trump paid Cohen back for spending money to rig an online poll that favored Trump. So Cohen was reimbursed for $50,000. But guess what? It turns out that he only paid the polling company $20,000, and he pocketed the rest, keeping $30,000 for himself.
That guy's a snake, man.
Asked Cohen if he lied about that. Cohen said yes. Meanwhile, President Trump's lawyers want to call as their first witness Bradley Smith. Smith is an election law expert and former chairman of the Federal Election Commission. Smith has said that the payments to Stormy Daniels do not count as campaign contributions, as prosecutors claim, but personal expenses, and that could undercut a key part of Alvin Bragg's case against the former president. Smith has compared Trump's case to the 2012 prosecution of former Senator John Edwards. You may remember that Edwards faced similar charges of spending money on a mistress, but his trial ended in an acquittal and a mistrial, and Edwards got off. We don't know if the former president will testify at this trial, but for the first time today, a large group of protesters who are against him converged on the courthouse.
No one is above the law. Trump is not above the law.
Well, there's like 6 of them spread out.
Get them, guys.
Yeah, 6 of them with an average age of 93. Okay, well, hey.
We're just marching. Don't know why. We got paid by this Arab guy. Sound off. I don't know what's going on. I'm out here. I'm stoned as hell. Give me a sign. I'll walk down the street. Yeah.
We're gonna protest this case today, just after we rub in some Bengay. Yeah. Anyways, but
that's how it works, man.
Cohen's their prize, the prosecutor's prize witness, and the guy is convicted felon, served time, and he has got caught in. I mean, not like conspiracy theories. He's been caught in dead on lies already in this case to the jurors. So even these jurors, even though they're in New York and they're liberal as hell, they're still like the sketch artists and those that are in the court are writing their expressions, and they're saying, hey, these jurors are kind of like, what's that? We can't trust this guy. You can't. The guy's, and he does anything to get money. He's a hustler, and I admire a hustler in many things, but not when you're trying to use it against to put someone actually in jail. And then I'm not against with a hustler. I mean, the guy that he pockets 30,000, puts 20,000 into the campaign, of the 50,000 to Stormy Daniels, that's a shyster. I mean, come on, a guy like that you can't trust for anything. I mean, he's perjured himself so many times on the stand, and got caught, and it's on record, and it's in black and white, so it can't be disputed. And he admits to it. He's admitted to it during cross examination and everything. Mm-hmm. So. the prosecution would make no sense bringing this person on at all. Bringing him back if they did it, they're just harming themselves even more. And wait till Trump's lawyers get a hold. They're just starting to. They're gonna tear him up like you've never seen. So
what kind of recourse does Trump have? Say he gets elected again, and there's that judge. Is there any get back? Is there any pressure to get him investigated? I mean, I'm not talking like an eye for an eye. I'm talking like, hey, you did something. We'd like to point it out. We'd like to put a magnifying glass on it.
absolutely. So the bar, you can submit him to the bar association for a number of violations because every judge is a part of that, and most lawyers are too. So 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 you can potentially get him disbarred or would get him decrowned or whatever it's called for the judge to have him to step down. So that's a possibility. There's defamation possibilities, but the problem with judges is it's really hard to sue judges because they're protected. They're protected a lot more than like any other profession, I would say.
They're more protected than the president. How about that? I figured that.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, exactly. Like the Supreme Court and so forth. So, but these high profile judges, like the last guy that looked like the Doc from Back to the Future. This is their time to shine. What's crazy about this is so many parts of the law are broken. Like this judge is given to the Biden campaign, and that's the ones that are holding, doing the prosecution in the first place. So, it's his DOJ is doing it, and the judge's daughter worked on the actual campaign for Biden, and is participating in all these anti-Trump things. Okay, this is the judge's daughter, and you're prosecuting a case against Trump. So
right.
This case should have been thrown out from the get-go. I mean, it didn't have standing in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of other reasons about it. It's just crazy, and it's sad, and hopefully justice will actually prevail, because that's the one thing we have to bank on, because if not, we're screwed. I mean, if he get, we'll be screwed. I can't say anything else.
Yeah, well, I gotta say that, like, we're all suspicious. Are some of our politicians bought by foreign countries that have malicious, subversive ideals towards America? And that's what we're all hinting at with what we see. And some of its headlines are pumped up, and that's why we have Patriot XL, to get to the truth of the matter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for the great Chris Greenman, who's get a sharp eye for this, I just bring the hairstyle. That's it.
Well, you bring the hairstyle, but you also bring the good points from a lot of different directions, which I'm always receptive and like to hear, because there are different ways to look at it. Just like you said today on the start of this show about the helicopter crash and the possibilities on it. I'm not a huge conspiracy theory guy, but I am one that if there's enough, if there's enough things that are smell funny, it could be spoiled. Something could be spoiled. It's like it's definitely something that you have to look at, because it's a very, very possible possibility that there could have been foul play. It could have been some of our specialists or
it's such an anomaly. It's such a rare numerical probability of that happening. You know what I mean? If you did the math,
right.
If you do the probability math on it, what's the likelihood of X happening? And both of them are in the helicopter, that changes to 1 in 1 million. You know what I mean? And that's
when you start adding the different variables and then put that on a probability scale, you're right. It points to not being an accident. Okay, it looks like an accident based on some of the stuff that we've seen, but we haven't seen everything, and we're only seeing what they want us to see. So for sure.
They dropped the chopper off, and they both snuck off, and they're living in the Cayman Islands now. And that's what really happened, if you want to have a conspiracy theory.
That'd be more on the conspiracy theory. But think about our laser weapons that we have that we're actively have on ships, like on the Joe Ford and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It could take that thing out in less than a half a second, and you wouldn't have any trace of it.
That's true.
If it was remotely close to it. I mean, it doesn't mean
if it was sailing in the mountains.
Right.
It could. I'm joking, but you know what I mean.
Then if you think the only way to deliver that kind of laser is just on the ship, then you guys are, you're not reading between the lines, because the lasers that the military currently has can be launched from a lot of different positions, not just
Well,
a ship.
well, think about the Chinese were doing this to some American airplanes, and then people were doing it to airlines pilots by airports illegally
Right.
using laser pointer lasers, hitting them in the eye somehow from the ground. Whatever precision.
Right.
I mean, they probably just need like a rifle scope and just attach the laser to direct it.
Yeah,
Who knows?
you just have to have a very powerful power source. But with like the lithium ion, some of the batteries that power like RC cars is enough to do a couple shots with a laser. I mean,
Yeah,
that's how you have to look at it, and you know how compact that can be, right? So
right.
yeah, so that's really where.
Have you noticed I don't think there's any college protests today. Let me look real quick. And I was wondering if there was a cause and effect on that. Houthis, are they still stealing? Are they still shooting today? I don't know. Iranian president's death threatens new instability in the region. That's the main headline. Obviously.
Yeah, but that's not really true though. I mean, it disrupts it, but it's not going to cause anything because the way their systems set up, it's much different than ours. It would be like the Speaker of the House, something happening to the Speaker of the House, and to us, that's about comparison to the ones that got killed in Iran. To be honest with you, as far as their structure for who controls the military in Iran, that's an equivalent. Would be like if the Speaker of the House got killed.
If Nancy Pelosi got taken out when she was in her position, it wouldn't have changed the country.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have even known about it after a day on the news. So
that's kind of like
it wouldn't affect anything. It wouldn't affect much in our country, put it that way. And so it's about the best comparison to as far as how much power the people had in the plane crash to Iran. So that part of me leans more towards an accident, but then obviously there's always the other side. Looks attractive as well. So we just probably don't know, but we should question it.
I wish I had a video for this. I don't know what this Fetterman response to Ocasio-Cortez's criticism. That's absurd. So whatever that is.
Oh, about her fake eyelashes. That was so funny.
Oh, you saw that battle, the Marjorie Green battle.
Marjorie, MTG, she don't give a crap. She just says what she wants to say, man. Oh, I think she would throw down in the UFC ring if she could with anybody. Like I think she would kill whatever.
The bartender.
ROC. No, ROC, whatever,
AOC was a bartender before. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. AOC, yeah. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene would just mess her up, dude. We should see if we can get that fight. That'd be a great fight.
Yeah. I'd like to promote it down at the pickleball.
So would I. I'll be a ring boy.
Forget the pickleball court. We're gonna do celebrity boxing in the warehouse, dude.
Yeah, imagine if we had Johnny Thunder there.
Oh my God, yeah, it would be the best. Johnny Thunder's looking forward to coming out, man.
All right, man. We're gonna see you in a few days here. I'm gonna